day of TCCA, and I have come to a great session with our presenter. I am so ready to hear what she has to impart to us. My name is Tamara Gibson. I am a DLS here at Aldine ISD, as well as Miss Graves is here helping from Aldine ISD. But we have a heavy hitter here to talk to us about Schoology, and we know that that is on the top of everybody's mind. So we're going to bow out and give her the time and make sure that she has everything she needs. All right, thanks.
All right, hi everyone, welcome. My name is Kelsey Amaya, and so let's get started with getting personal with Schoology. So as I said before, my name is Kelsey Amaya. I am a literacy specialist in Klein ISD. I was a fifth grade teacher for 5 years, and that's where we really started to familiarize ourselves with Schoology. And so it's given me a great platform to be able to just showcase what we've learned, what I've learned. And here's my Twitter, my Instagram, and I do have a YouTube channel with pretty much everything you will need for Schoology related questions, different tips and tricks that I've just had teachers ask me about. It's just so much easier to put it on a video and just have it there for teachers to be able to access at any given time. So those are my three places that you can reach me. Okay, so first I just wanted to start out with this quote. I love this quote from Janice. Personalized learning doesn't invite us to ask students to pilot the plane. Instead, we might invite students to our frequent flyer program, giving them greater choice and rewards over where and how they travel. So personalized learning is not something that you just give to every student and they have to do it. You give students choice, and that's what Schoology is huge at. You can individually assign things to students. It's just a great platform to personalize the learning in your classrooms. So there are 4 tenets, and you probably already know this, but there are 4 tenets to personalized learning. Competency-based progression, so you're really looking at that mastery level to make sure students are mastering those skills that are being taught in the classroom. Flexible learning environments, we all are in this tenet right now, flexible learning. Some of us are at home, some of us are in class, some of us are even hybrid. My district is a hybrid model. So what our teachers are actually teaching students in the classroom as well as teaching them through Zoom. So we have to do both. So we really have to be flexible with our environment. Personal learning paths, this is a huge one for me. This is really where Schoology took off in my classroom, was with this personalized learning pathways to customize the learning for each and every student. And then learner profiles. So in Klein ISD, we know every student by name, strength, and need. So really having those profiles to be able to know what your student needs and what your student and how your student learns best is definitely a way to personalize the learning. So why do I love Schoology? So I am a Schoology ambassador. So I've been an ambassador for 2 years now, and I absolutely love it. So one reason why I love Schoology, in Texas, we have STAR. So it's our academic readiness assessment that students take at the end of the year for 3 through 12th grade students. And that really pushed me to love Schoology. The very first year, 3 years ago that we got Schoology, STAR was a big thing that we had to really try and figure out how we were going to get Schoology to work with our review. And having that personalized Schoology platform was able to push our 5th grade students to be the highest growing students in our district. So we had over 22% growth in our 5th grade reading STAR because of Schoology. And I solely think that it was because of our pathways on Schoology and individually aligning those items to our students. It's definitely able to be personalized for all students. You can differentiate anything on Schoology. You can add links for different students. You can add different videos for students, assignments, tests and quizzes can be different. If you have SPED students that need modified instruction, you can differentiate it to however you want it to be. It's very engaging, so everything is in one place for students to be able to engage in that learning. Accountability. Schoology has that huge accountability pieces with completion rule, with due dates. So being able to hold students accountable for what they are supposed to be completing is definitely a plus for Schoology. And it's also easy. Parents can access it, students can access it, teachers can share things across a grade level, so you're not having to do two things for one subject. You can share across in Schoology, so it's just very easy and fluid in your classrooms. Okay, so let's just dive in. So there's lots of ways to personalize Schoology. So I'm just going to show you just a couple of ways that I like to personalize Schoology, because there's tons of things that we can do with our Schoology courses. So the first thing is, of course, the course pictures. So when you first get your courses in Schoology, they're this like weird blue color. Like it's like a weird like image. It's not very like, oh my gosh, I want to go to that course. So being able to change your course picture in Schoology is huge, especially for our younger babies, because I'm just going to toggle really quick to my Schoology. So usually it's like a blue, ugly color course. And so when you have younger babies that don't know what course to click, because you have to think, kindergartners having a Schoology course, they have probably 8 courses, because they have their math, science, social studies, language arts, and then they're also going to have specials. So they're going to have music, they're going to have PE, and they're also going to have an art. So you have these kinder babies having to access 8 courses at a time. So just being able to change these pictures for them to see, so that way they know exactly, okay, I need to go to my reading course. Here's my reading course. It's just a great way to personalize it. You can add your Bitmojis to it. You can create these on any type of platform. It's just a great visual for our babies. So I like to create them in 3 different places. I like to create my course pictures in Google Slides. And in this template, in this slideshow, I have a template for you that was made by another teacher in Klein ISD. So she has all these pre-made templates you can use. But you can just you can open up a new Google slide, create your picture on a slide, and then you can just download it as a PNG and then upload it into your Schoology course picture. So it's super, super simple and just a simple way to personalize. You can also use a Google Draw the same way. You can create things from Google. You can create things from different websites that you might want to pull. Just make sure the copyright law is all good and ready to be used. But you can use Google Draw the same way as Google Slides. And then the last way you might not know about, but it's Canva. I love Canva. Canva has thousands and thousands of designs of all these different things that you can use. And you can choose one of those designs, put your text in it of what you want your course to be called, and then you just download it just like an image, and it's there. So Canva is definitely, if you don't know about Canva, that could be a whole nother session, but Canva is definitely a great, great platform to use. Okay. Another way that you can personalize your Schoology is actually creating your profile. So over here, I have a GIF that shows you how to find your profile in Schoology if you don't know how. The reason that having a profile is definitely very important is because if you have 2 or 3 or 10 people in your district that have the same name as you, then you're not going to know who you're sending stuff to. You're not going to know who you're connecting with on Schoology. And so just creating the profile with your picture and your information will allow other teachers and students and other teachers outside of your district to connect with you and know they're connecting with the right person. It's definitely, like, for me, I know there's not a lot of Kelsey and Amayas out there, so it might not be that big of a deal, but for me, I like to have it on there because if I'm connecting with other people, even outside of Texas, because you can connect with anyone in the world that uses Schoology. If I'm trying to connect with people, I want them to know who I am, and I want them to know that I'm the correct person that they want to connect with. On your profile as well, you can find your badges. So if your district uses Schoology for like professional development, some districts have badges that they use to give out once you've completed a course. So on your Schoology profile, you're able to see all of the badges that you have earned from those courses. So I'm just going to go back to my Schoology really quick. And I'm going to go to my profile so you can see what it looks like. But students have this exact same thing as well. So students have a profile that they can change and they can add pictures to. And if you use badges in your Schoology course to give students like an incentive virtually, they'll be able to see all of their badges over here on the right-hand side, and they're going to be able to show those to their parents. Their parents can also see all of their profile badges that they have as well. So it's just a great way to keep parents and students and teachers connected and just to showcase their work. So this is kind of what the profile looks like. And that way you have all of the information that you need when you're trying to connect with other people. Okay. All right, the next thing is folders. I love folders. So Schoology, when we first started 3 years ago, folders were not able to be individually assigned to students. You had to individually assign every single thing inside the folder to a student, which was definitely tedious and time consuming, but we did what we had at the time. Now, they just opened up it last year for folders to be able to be individually assigned. So this is a huge, huge thing for personalizing learning. You can individually assign folders. So say you have some SPED babies in your class, or say you have some GT students, and you wanted them to have some extra help or extra projects or extra choice boards that you wanted them to be able to have. You can create a folder that has that student's name on that folder, and then you can individually assign that folder just to that student in your class. And everything underneath that folder that you put inside of his or her folder will be individually assigned to that one student. So nobody else in your class will be able to see anything in that folder. So this is really, really good for personalizing that instruction for students. When we first started out, we had different pathways based on their pre-assessment. And it was kind of sad because you were able to see as a student, if I'm on path 1, I was still able to see path 2 and path 3. And I was able to click into those and see that, why are they getting to do this create piece? Why are they getting to do this choice board? Why don't I have that? So being able to have folders individually assigned is a huge, huge, huge benefit in Schoology. And it's just great, and they're super cute, and you get to have all of the colors and all of that, so it's just great. And folders also, you can add different pictures to your folders as well. So if I go back into my Schoology course, I know I'm toggling back and forth, but I just want you to be able to see what I'm talking about. So if I go to this ELA course, I have little pictures that I've made in Canva that I can add into my folders for my courses. So it's just another way to personalize that course for your students. Okay. The next thing is there's assignments. So we probably all, if we're familiar with Schoology, assignments are definitely a must in our classroom. There was a lot of teachers that were worried about Schoology and if it was going to connect with Google, because they've created all these things for Google Classroom, but they don't know if it will connect with Schoology. And yes, it 100% does. So there are 2 types of assignments that you can have in Schoology. You can have just a plain Schoology assignment, which means there's no template from Google. There's no template that you've created that you have students fill out. It's just the assignment, and then they have to figure out how to create it. So if you have something where you want them to maybe create a landform picture, so draw a picture of a landform and label the landform, let's say. Then you can have all of the directions on your Schoology assignment, and then students can upload their image into that assignment, and you'll actually be able to see it and comment on that assignment. So there's no digital template, there's nothing. It's just a great way. Our art teacher uses the Schoology assignments because when she has art projects, she wants to be able to see those art projects. So she uses the Schoology assignments option so kids can take a picture of their paintings or their drawings and then just upload it into that assignment. The other type of assignment is one that I use all the time. It's Google Drive assignments. So your Schoology connects to Google Drive. So if you have not been able to get into Schoology and connect that Google Drive, that's a huge thing that you need to make sure you do. All you're going to do to connect your Google Drive is just go to the resources, and then down on the resources, there's an apps button. And then the very first one on your apps button is the Google Drive resource app. So all you'll do is hit approve and your Google Drive is connected. So connecting your Google Drive will allow you to create all of your templates, all of your activities. You buy them on Teacher Pay Teachers, or you just create them from the past with having Google Classroom. You're going to be able to use all of those templates. And the best part is when you create an assignment through Google Drive, it automatically makes a copy for each student. So you're not having to click that extra button like in Google Classroom to make sure that everyone gets a copy. It automatically makes one for you. Tests and quizzes. So tests and quizzes are great for, like, I personally like tests and quizzes for mid-checks, for exit tickets, and also for just check-in, check-outs. I don't like to use tests and quizzes for like big assessments. I use the assessments tab, which we'll get to in a second. But tests and quizzes, you're able to individually assign those. So I know for our SPED students, some of our SPED students have accommodations where they need a shortened test. So instead of 10 questions, maybe they'll get 6 for their assessment. So you're able to individually assign multiple tests to your classes. So that way your students that do get that accommodation are being able to do it the same way that anyone else is doing it through Schoology. You'll just individually assign it to those babies that need that accommodation. You can also create tests or quizzes with less than 4 choices if you have multiple choice. Tests and quizzes also allows you to use the text-to-speech option. So you can click the one that, for those accommodations, you can click text-to-speech option and it will automatically read the test to your students. So tests and quizzes is great for me. I like to use it for just some mid-checks, exit tickets, check-ins, just whenever I'm not really taking a grade. It's more of like an informal assessment to just see where they're at and gauge where their learning is. I use a test or a quiz. Okay. Now, assessments. The reason I love assessments is because if you look on the right-hand side, there are so many more question options for assessments. Tests and quizzes have 4 question types. They only have multiple choice, true, false, matching, and like a short answer essay. So having all of these types of these question types is huge in Schoology. And there's so many people finding ways now during this virtual time in using Schoology assessments. And the biggest one that my teachers have been using is for spelling tests. So they'll use this label image right here, and they'll be able to have students actually write out the words on the test, and they'll be able to see their spelling answers. So it's just an amazing, amazing place to have all of your assessments is in Schoology. You can also individually assign, just like a test or a quiz. All of your questions can be linked to your standards. So in Texas here, we have TEAC. So all of your standards can be linked. All of the different standards that Schoology has around the world are in Schoology. So you'll just have to go find your standard if you want. And then you're able to use, once you have something linked to a standard, you're able to use that mastery check in Schoology to see where students are at and if they're growing in their learning. You can also have text-to-speech options. So just like in the test or a quiz, students can have the option if they have that accommodation to have it read to them. So that's another great way. I like to use assessments for all my formative assessments, all my huge summative assessments. And I also like to use them for mid-checks if I just have a different type of question type that I need asked for my students. And then in middle school and high schools, a lot of them use them for finals and semester exams. Okay. Files and links. This is another one. I'm going to say that I love a lot of stuff because I do. I absolutely love Schoology. And if I keep saying that I love it, it's really true. I really, really do love Schoology and all the things that it has. And it's just coming out with so many more things and so many more gadgets. And being a part of the ambassador program, you're able to see them firsthand. So it's just awesome to see how it's just growing throughout the years. So sorry if I say that too much, but I really, really do. So files and links. So this is great for if you have a video on YouTube. If you have like Seesaw, like our younger grade levels use Seesaw, they can actually link all of those web pages to Schoology and have it right there in Schoology for kids to just click. You can also use embed codes. So if you use, like if you're using YouTube and you wanted that link to be embedded in Schoology, which means students will not have to get out of Schoology to click on that link to go watch that video. They can watch it inside of the platform. You can actually embed links as well into Schoology with the embed code so students can stay on the platform, because what we don't want is like our first or second grade babies to have 500 tabs at the top of their screen and they don't know what to click. So I try to make sure that my teachers know that just try and keep everything in Schoology, try and keep it on one place, so that way you're not having so many tabs at the top that your students get lost. You can also, if you have files on your computer, so say you have anchor charts, say you have graphs, say you have pictures of like a novel that you want students to see. You can upload those files into your Schoology and then students can see it. We use this a lot for PDFs and worksheets. So we'll scan the worksheet into the computer with our scanner, and then student or teachers will upload it into their Schoology. So that way students at home that are learning at home can either A, print it at home if they have a printer, or they can just copy down the notes into their notebook and complete the assignment. So having files on the computer is a really, really good tool as well. Okay, discussions. We use discussions a lot. So this is a great way to keep students together during this virtual time of being distant. During the pandemic, when it first started out, my partner teacher and I used discussions every single day with our students. So we were able to have discussions and just pose like a simple question. We had like a 14-day countdown till the end of the year. And every day we had just something funny and loose, and just to keep them not thinking about all the stuff that was on the outside world, just keeping them focused on what they needed. So they were able to see each other's comments. They were able to comment back and forth. Discussions are really good for informal assessments to see how they understand. So kind of like an exit ticket. You can have it where you have the discussions in Schoology be to only be able to see the comments when they comment. So if you have something with like a question about a book, but you don't want everyone to copy another student's comment, when you're creating your discussion, you can turn that off where they have to answer the discussion question before they see anyone else's discussion response. So you can add to your discussion, you can add your Bitmoji to it, you can add a picture to it. Students can also use the audio tool for discussions. So if you have a student that can't type, or you have a student that doesn't like to type and is not a very good typer and just wants to speak, you can have them be able to speak their discussion answer, and then you'll be able to play it and listen to it. So that's another way to personalize the learning with the discussion. Okay. A page. So pages are not utilized a lot in Schoology by teachers. They don't know what pages can do. Pages are awesome. So with a page, our teachers, we like to use pages for multiple step things in the day. So especially for K2 babies, you don't want them having to click on this, then click on this, then click on this, then click on this. So our teachers are trying to get into the mode of creating a page for each day, which has the steps all on one page. So you can embed websites in your page. You can embed pictures. You can embed activities. You can embed games, links. You can embed pretty much anything you want in your page. And then at the bottom, you can't see it on this video, but at the bottom, there's a little, it's like a little page, like paper at the bottom where it says options right here. It's this option right there. You can click on that and it will put it in line. So it will put the page in line, which means that everything on that page will show up on their Schoology before they even have to click into it. So having pages is phenomenal for directions. Students can see what they have to do for that whole entire day on one. It's just a great, great option. And if you haven't really looked into pages in Schoology, I would definitely recommend doing so because they are not used as much as they should be. Okay. Okay, so pathways. So this was a huge stepping stool for us. So 3 years ago, when we first started out with Schoology as a fifth grade team, I went to a training and we were trying to figure out, before we even knew that our district was going to get Schoology as our platform, we were trying to figure out and create pathways for students using Google Sites. So I created, based on our TEKS for the first 9 weeks, I created all of these Google Sites with pathways, with activities, depending on what the TEK was and also what the students needed. And it seemed to work pretty well, but there was no accountability for it. There was no knowing if the student actually did it or not, if they were just skipping through. There was just no way to see what they were doing. Then about 3 months later, we got the call that we were getting Schoology. And as elementary teachers, it wasn't really pushed in elementary, but I wanted to push it. So I pushed it. And so our campus at the time, my campus at the time, our fifth grade class was one of the first fifth grade classes in our district to utilize Schoology as our platform. So what we then did was we created pathways. So in our district, we use units of study for reading, for our pre-assessments, post-assessments, and all of our resources that we use for our teaching. And based on their pre-assessment, we would look at the TEKS that were being addressed, and we would put students into pathways depending on what they still needed. And so we were able to assign pathways to each student based on their pre-assessment. And I know math did this as well. They did the exact same thing with their pre-assessments. And we were able to individually assign folders to students based on what they needed. And so each student, when they logged into our courses, got a trail or a pathway that they had to complete for the week. And it was just, I'm telling you, it saved the way we teach because they were able to, we knew exactly what they needed to get on when they had the computer station. They did not go to anything else but Schoology. There was a one-stop shop, and that is exactly what Schoology is. It's a one-stop shop. And it was just a great way to keep kids accountable. And up here, there's a student progress button, and that is huge. That was huge for us with Pathways because we were able to click that student progress button and see who was actually doing what they needed to do and getting things done. So if you don't know, the pathways are very, very advanced, and I would definitely not start with it if you're new to Schoology this year. But it's just a great way to build for next year to see if you really want to personalize the learning with pathways. Okay, so this is just 2 snapshots of my Schoology from last year. So since I'm not in the classroom anymore, I am a literacy specialist, so I work with all students and all teachers at my campus. I wanted to just show you a couple of pictures of my Schoology from last year. So the picture on the left is just my home screen. So this is my home reading course. So I created this cute little Bitmoji class picture because, of course, we didn't have class pictures last year because of the COVID. So I created this little Bitmoji for them, and I was able to add it as a banner in Schoology as an announcement. But this is just kind of what it looked like for me as my students navigated and all of the folders that I had during that digital learning time. The other picture on the right was actually star review for my students for reading. And this is what students were expected to do each week. So each week, they would have a different genre based on that pre-assessment. They would take this pre-assessment, and then they would have 2 videos that they would have to watch and annotate the pre-assessment that they just took. So I know they're using strategies that they need. And then each one of these questions for the pre-assessment was tailored to a TEK. So it had the TEK next to the question. So students would have to go back into that pre-assessment, see what they missed, and if they miss, let's say 5.7D summarizing, because summarizing is a huge TEK. They miss this TEK only. They would skip these 2 folders and they would just go straight to this summarizing TEK and complete all the activities in there. And then if they finish, they would be able to go to this once finished folder. And so at the end of the week, every week, they would have a post assessment and they would hopefully, fingers crossed, make a better grade than the pre-assessment. And so if they didn't make a better grade than the pre-assessment, the next week during small group instruction time, during guided groups, I would pull a strategy group based on those TEKs that student did not make a better grade on, and pull those groups and do a reteach, reassess type thing. So this is kind of how we laid out for our 5-week star review. We laid it out, we individually assigned it, they were able to take it based on what they need. It's all about the students, it's all about personalizing to what they need, tailoring their strengths, and Schoology definitely does that for us. Okay, just some other fun features that Schoology has. Of course, I talked about the course pictures that can be changed to however you want. Bitmojis are huge. You can add any Bitmoji classroom that you find, any Bitmoji classroom you make, any of your Bitmojis that you have on your computer, you can add those straight into Schoology. Virtual classrooms can be added, so you can add your virtual classrooms you can add those into your Schoology course. You can create groups with your teammates to save resources for next year. So this one is a big one as well. So I'm going to go up to my Schoology really quick just to show you what my groups look like. So up here at the top, you have a courses. So this is the drop down for all the courses you're a part of or you're an administrator of. And then you have a group. So groups do not go with your grade book. So if you are using Schoology and it's connected to your grade book, groups is nothing that connects to your grade book. You can create hundreds of groups if you wanted to. I don't know why you would create 100 groups, but you can create as many groups as you want. These first 6 were created for PLCs, which is our professional learning community at our campus, so in our district. So each one of these is for a different grade level. So if I click into this 3rd grade PLC, all of these members are able to take from this Schoology group and add it straight to their course. So if I have in my resources of groups, if I have in this ELAR folder, say I'm a teacher and I wanted to go down here and I'm saying, oh, I want all of this context clue stuff in my course. I don't want to have to create it if it's already created. I can just go over here to this gear and hit add to course. And then I can choose what course I want. It's added into my course and it's done. So this is a great way to work as a team to create things so you're not creating the same thing twice. It's just, you got to work smarter, not harder. So being able to divvy up the responsibilities, put them in a group, and then just take what you need and add it to your course is huge with groups. So groups are definitely great. Just remember, groups, You can't have anything for a grade in groups. And also, if you have groups, you can't have anybody submit anything. So you can't add Google assignments to a group. You can add a template that you can then attach once it's in a course, but you can't attach any Google assignment to your groups. You also cannot take any grades in a group. Like I said, with like tests or quizzes or assessments, you can create a template and then move it to your course for grading. Okay. You can add co-teachers to your courses. So this is another one that's huge. So we as a district have added all of our co-teachers to our courses, which means you can add co-teachers for those special ed students, for those speech students that you need. If you want to add all of your administration, your counselor, you can add anybody to this, and you can make them administrators. So our special ed teachers are added into all of the courses that they have students that they help with in there, and they are added as administrators. So what that means is they have all access to our teachers' courses. So they have actually added folders for each of their students that they service, and they've added in different types of accommodations that students can use. So like a graphing chart for math. They've placed counters in there. They've placed digital videos that might help them throughout a concept that only those students can see because those co-teachers have individually assigned it for them. So co-teachers, I would recommend adding those so they can see what you're doing and teaching, and then also they can see what the students are doing as well that they service. It's a continuation for contact with parents and students. So instead of having to email a parent saying that their kid needs to complete something on Schoology, you can just email the kid straight away in Schoology and they get it on their Schoology. So you can email any student with this messaging, and you can create any message on here for students, and they'll be able to see it right away and not have to wait for their parent to read their email and say, go complete the assignment. Nearpod and Edpuzzle, they link to Schoology. So your districts probably have different apps that they link to depending on what you would like to, or what the district has. And so our district has Nearpod and Edpuzzle. So those link straight in with Schoology. Students don't have to just go to Nearpod, log in, anything like that. It automatically links with your Schoology course. You can give students badges, like we said in our profile, and then it's just a great parent, teacher, student communication tool. Okay. This is also just something I wanted to add. So I created this little Bitmoji classroom just so you can have some how-to guides of when to add materials to your Schoology. So if you just click on this picture, it will take you to another presentation. And then you can click on any of the items on here. So like you can just click here and it will tell you how to do something on Schoology. Okay. All right. I have questions. Any questions?
Yes, we have a few questions from the audience. One that I noticed was she was asking a question about why is Brain Pop videos not playing in Schoology.
So Brain Pop, they're trying to fix it. We just had an ambassador meeting 2 weeks ago about Brain Pop and Seesaw because sometimes Seesaw would not work as well in Schoology. So they're trying to figure out how they can integrate Brain Pop. But what my teachers have been doing is just linking in the Brain Pop video and making sure that students have that username and password to access it. And that seems to be working right now. But yeah, there's some type of glitch with Schoology, and Schoology does know about the Brain Pop glitch.
I was searching for the other one. I know they asked a question concerning folders, but I can't seem to find it scrolling around. So I will locate that, but there's a couple of interesting questions concerning your folders or going a little bit more into your folder idea.
Okay. So they want to see my
Honestly, I was trying to find it, but I do know that they were asking questions concerning photos. So let me get to those. I did give out your YouTube channel, so if you wanted to show that, definitely can. Uh, show that information. She did. I do have one that just popped up that says, "Can you discuss a little bit more about the external tools?"
So the external tools, yes. Let me go into my Schoology and go to my courses. And so with the external tools, it just depends on what your district allows you to do. So for us, our external tool option is very limited. If I click on add link, file link external tool, and I go over here, this is really just embedding it into your Schoology. So all you would do is copy a link, you would title it whatever you want, you would copy this link into there and hit submit. And if your district allows you to do that, this would be like embedding a video, embedding a Nearpod, embedding an Edpuzzle. It's the same exact thing. You're just adding it into your Schoology from the URL. So this can be done from any instructional tool website. This can be done with anything. You would just add the title, you would add the URL, because those are the two things that have to be added, and then you would hit submit, and it would look exactly like if you were embedding a video. And then I will say that if you go to the add file link external tool, and I click on link, there's no place that says embed, but right here it says enter a URL or embed code. So you would just enter that embed code right here instead of the URL and hit add, and then it would automatically embed it into your Schoology.
Do have another question that says, "Are they going to be able to get the link to this presentation?"
So I do have the link. Let me go back. I do have the bit.ly. Where is it? There it is. So there's the bit.ly that y'all can have. I do have on my YouTube channel, there's a Facebook group called Teaching with Schoology, and I'm one of the administrators on that Teaching with Schoology Facebook group. And what we did over the summer was we offered a lot of free, because there was a lot of teachers that just were getting into Schoology over the summer. So we offered some free professional developments as administrators. So all of those have been videoed and linked into my YouTube channel that you can go back and watch if you have any other questions with Schoology. And most of those videos on my YouTube channel are because teachers have asked me and I've just created a video. And that's pretty much where my YouTube channel began, for sure, is that there's just lots of questions that were asked the same. And so I was like, oh, let me just make a video. And so I made a video, and other teachers were able to benefit from it as well.
Awesome. So we also have a question from Dominique. I answered it in the chat, but definitely want to give you a chance to explore.
Oh,
It says, "How can I move my coursework to a group before it deletes?"
Okay, so that's a great question. So if you go into your course, so I'll just stay in this course. If I wanted to move this Schoology 101 folder into a group, all you're going to do is go over to the gear and hit save to resources. So when you hit save to resources, all of the collections, all of your resources you have, and also all of the groups you are a part of and an administrator of, this is where you can add all of your stuff. Now, Schoology, after this year, if I go to my courses and I go over to my courses, all of your courses archived. So you see right here where it says archived, you can click archived, and all of my courses are all right here that I've ever been a part of. So everything from my very, very first course are all right here in my archives. So you can click on any of the courses that you have in your Schoology archived and take things from that and add it to your courses. So it's not going to delete your course. So at the end of the year, your courses do not get deleted. They just get archived. So you're not having to worry about not having those things you worked so tirelessly on. It's all going to be in your archive section.
So we've come to the time where I must give out that heavily coveted super secret word, and so I want to make sure that I do that. Also, want to pop in Miss Graves to just thank her for being present with me on this afternoon. Oh no, Miss Maya, we're gonna give you some more time. I'm gonna give you probably a couple of minutes back, but I definitely want to make sure that I give out that super
Oh, no
secret
worries, no worries.
so that we can give the credit to those who have been here. We thank you so much for being present with us. Make sure you tag this amazing presenter um, within Twitter today. And all on her platforms, like her channel, all those things. Thank you for Klein Eyes Deep being in the house, Aldine Eyes Deep, and all of the other ones that I saw. I'm not trying to take away from the other ones, but I'm just promoting the ones on the screen. So I definitely want to thank you for being present. Of course, put your questions in the chat. We can go back at another time and talk about those questions and even answer them. Last, of course, but not least from me, is the super secret word, which I think today has been success. So,
Ooh,
our
that's super
super
secret.
secret word is success. You are amazing. And so, I'm just so happy to be able to be a part of this event. Um, again, thank you so much for everyone who is present. Thank you, Kelsey, and thank you, Ms. Graves. I'm going to pop Ms. Graves back out, and I'm getting ready to remove myself as well. Again, thank you. TCCA is a love, it's a passion of ours and a passion of mine. Please make sure that you attend the events, and as we're warming up on another new year, who knows what it holds, but we're
I
glad
know.
we're able to be able to do it this way safely and be able to still give out great presenters. So thank
Yeah.
you again, Ms. Kelsey. I am very appreciative. So take us on home. Give us a little bit more information.
Oh, I don't know what to share. What should I share?
Oh, okay. Let me give you a couple of so
I
let
just,
me look at a couple of quotes.
oh, what am I doing?
No, I said let me look at a couple of the other comments. I know that we have some people that are new to Schoology, so just kind
Okay.
of give them a little call.
Oh yes, no, I would definitely go look at my YouTube channel. It's a great place to start if you're new. It has it's got a video called Basics of Schoology, and it breaks down every part of Schoology that you could possibly be thinking about. And there's no fluff in my videos. It's literally just there's no music, nothing. It's just me talking like I would talk in a professional development setting. So I would definitely go check that out. And yeah, just reach out to me if you have any other questions. I try and post a lot of different tips and tricks for Schoology, and also some different things that you can use in Schoology through like my Twitter and through that Facebook group. And if you aren't a part of that Facebook group, I would definitely join that Facebook group because there's educators that are starting out just like some of us, that you can definitely learn from and get the information that you need. So it's a great place to start for sure.
Yes, and I'm actually a member as well. I've
Yay!
joined that and been able to help a couple of people out. We do have another question that says, "How do you add the banner to the course?" I don't know if we'll have enough time to do all
Yeah,
of that,
right.
but do want to tell you that question that's on the floor.
So I would definitely go to YouTube and look at my channel because there is a whole 50-minute presentation on how to do that. It's a lot of steps, but once you get the banner up on Schoology, it's going to look awesome. And you'll be able to change it however you want. And it's just, yeah, I would definitely go to YouTube to try and find out how to do that.
Awesome. Another one. How do you put a pic in your folder like it has on your page?
So all you'll do is on the folder, you'll go to the little gear and hit edit. And then in that description box, you can copy and paste a picture into there and just save it. And it saves automatically with your folder.
Just picking a couple of bunches out of the crowd on our way out. If I save an assessment to resources and delete it from the course page, do I lose the grades?
Yes, you would lose the grades if you deleted it from your course. So don't delete an assessment if you still want those grades. It will automatically get taken out of your grade book. Yeah.
Are my courses from last year archived because all of my individual activities are lost?
Yes, all of your courses should be archived. They should be in that archive section of your courses. Yes, go check that.
Yes, it is. It is. And so, in order to check that, you go to courses, click on courses, and then you'll see a little sneaky button. It says archive right
Yep.
to the side, and you'll be able to find that information there.
Yes.
Right. All right. I think I asked you this, but just in case, I'm going to pop that up. And that was how can I move my coursework to group before it deletes? I think you covered that already, but just
Yes.
to make sure that I was thorough.
Yeah, no, you'll just hit the gear, hit copy to or save to resources, and it saves it to your resources.
All right. Well, Miss Graves, I'm popping you back in, darling. So we want to just thank you again here at TCCA and all Dean ISD. We are in love with you, and we are so glad that you have stayed with us to the end. Yes, yes, yes. Make sure that you definitely tag this wonderful presenter and go back to this channel. It has all of the information that we have from the sessions. Be sure to go over there and look out for some of those different vendors and their spots that they have. Please, please, please go back to Scan and pop in there. As well as we have one last thing about an event that's coming up, which is November the 14th, Ed Camp Aldine. So please make sure that you sign up through that bit.ly link that you see there at the bottom of our screen. And again, have an A-OK weekend. Thank you for joining us for learning. Yes, yes, yes. Bye, everybody.